People forget that Michael Beasley was compared to Derrick Rose and Kevin Durant. The Bulls were even torn between D Rose at number 1 or Michael Beasley. Of course, they drafted D Rose in 2008. He was from Chicago, but Beasley went next at number 2 to the Heat. He grew up with Kevin Durant. The two were best friends, and they both dominated high school and college basketball. The New York Times even published an article saying Beasley might be better than Kevin Durant. But now the only people he's compared to are Anthony Bennett, because he was a bust, or Lamar Odom, a talent who ruined his career with personal problems. But new info has just come out about what really caused the downfall of Michael Beasley. Yes, drugs and immaturity were a part of it, but once he matured, a far more tragic event took him down. Michael Beasley grew up 5 minutes from KD. They first met at a basketball practice when Beasley stole Durant's pizza at 11 years old.
So we ordered pizza for the whole team, and after practice, we were all looking forward to it, and he had to leave early, I guess, like 10 minutes early. And we came out and all the pizza was gone, and we looked out the door. He was jumping in the car, and he was like, he had a piece of slice in his hand.
And that is a funny clip and all, but it's also a huge red flag. Who does that? It turns out Beasley was dealing with a really crappy childhood. His dad ditched their family. His mom was raising 5 kids by herself. Beasley constantly got in trouble. He was in 7 schools in just 5 years. He was a beast on the court though, and he played for the legendary Oak Hill High School as a junior. Dude dropped 20 points and 10 boards a game as one of the biggest college recruits in the country, but he couldn't stay out of trouble. Guys, you know who today's sponsor is. When a YouTuber gets 50k subscribers, there they are. When a video gets demonetized, they pick up the slack. It is Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, all memes aside, I am pumped because some of you still haven't tried Raid. And it's free! Raid's got a ton of champions, over 600 now, all from unique factions with their own history inside the world of Teleria. Orcs get a bad rap in fantasy, but in Raid, they're not all bad. They have a really good reason to not like humans. After a brutal war fought against the Bannerlords and the High Elves and the Sacred Order, their lands were annexed, forcing most Orc clans to become nomadic. Like Pelicans fans when their team moves to Seattle. Now they're just mostly trying to survive, but you have to play the campaign to hear the full story. But these guys just look cool. You can see how much each orc is influenced by its tribe and its personality in each design. And one of my favorites, I'm actually a big Iron Brago guy. Reminds me of Rudy Gobert. Doesn't get the love he deserves, and he is a defensive beast. But what I like most so far is summoning champions at the portal. The excitement is kind of like having a pack of basketball cards and being able to pull a one-of-one Luka.
Luka Doncic. Boom!
There's never been a better time to get started with Raid. You can use my link or scan the QR code right there in the corner. New players get a free starter pack worth almost $30 to kickstart your game. We're talking a free champion Ina, 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and an ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get in the game. You'll find these rewards right here in your inbox the next 30 days only. Once you're in, you can find me in-game under the name Casey Kiernan, my real name, so it's easy to remember, and it's that easy. Just click the link in the description, and I'll see you in the game. Oak Hill kicked him out after he went around signing everything in sight with a Sharpie. After an amazing senior season at Notre Dame Prep, Beasley was the #1 recruit, and he chose Kansas State. Dude couldn't even find Kansas on a map, but he told everyone that he went there because his friend was hired as an assistant. In reality, we found out K-State bribed him with money, and it caused a huge scandal years later. But the Wildcats got their money's worth. He was overshadowed in March Madness by Derrick Rose and Stephen Curry, by the way. But who cares? NBA teams loved him. The Miami Heat just won a title 2 years before, but Dwayne Wade got injured in 2007 and Shaq left for the Suns, so they won 15 games and got the #2 pick. So they took Michael Beasley to pair with D-Wade and immediately regretted it. He was busted for smoking weed at the rookie transition program, which ironically teaches rookies how to stay out of trouble. The league fined him $50,000, but the Heat still wanted him to do well. They started wanted him on day one, hoping that he could be D-Wade's running mate, but Beasley struggled so bad, it took him 32 games to get 10 rebounds. He averaged a double-double in college, so they had no choice but to bench him 15 games in. He actually went to rehab that offseason, but started smoking weed again. And if you know anything about Pat Riley, doesn't have much patience for the stoner type. So they traded him to the Timberwolves and just gave up, said, yeah, we picked a bust. But things turned around for Beasley. He dropped 19 points and 6 boards a game in Minnesota, and people thought maybe he's not a big two with D-Wade, but he will be with Kevin Love. Then in 2011, he was arrested for weed possession. All the K-State bribery stuff came out, and he was filmed pushing a fan in the face in the offseason. And I have to say at this point, look, I don't think weed is a big deal, but that doesn't excuse it. If it's against the rules, you don't do it. It's that simple. Beasley was too immature to be a pro early in his life, and he learned that the hard way when Minnesota traded him to Phoenix in 2012, and he was arrested immediately while a sexual assault case was going on. And do you know how talented you have to be to keep getting more chances like this? Well, this went on for 6 more years in 5 NBA teams, plus 2 Chinese teams, including the Shanghai Sharks. But people clowned Beasley the most on his last team for 2 different things. First was the really weird Lakers preseason interview.
With taking a day at a time, where should this Lakers team end up by the end of the year?
Exactly where we want to.
Which is?
Where we want to be.
Well, where do you want to be?
Taking it a day at a time.
But if once you add up all those days, where can you end up?
The future.
Then he tried to check into a game with his warm-up shorts on.
Here is one for the books. Michael Beasley looking to check in for the Lakers, and then is told, hey, Michael, come on back. You're wearing the wrong shorts.
Ever since then, Beasley has just begged teams to give him another shot. He even tried out for the G League, even when we had all of the COVID stuff going on and teams were looking for anybody, they wouldn't hire Bees. But what we didn't know until recently is what Beasley was going through late in his career. In a recent interview, Beasley said, off the court, my mom died when I was playing for the Lakers. I fought through that and I came back. My cousin died the game I forgot my shorts in Oklahoma. I was battling that day, trying to fight through it. I wanted to go to the funeral, but I was already gone when my mom died. I just wanted to be there for my team, and the whole world just laughed at me. My whole career, I've never been given a chance to show who I really am, how I can really play, show that I can really win and be somebody. But the whole world laughed at me, and it hurt my feelings, I'm not gonna lie. Later, Beasley said his mom was dying of cancer, and he didn't tell anybody. He didn't want to be a victim. He was trying to support his teammates and to show strength. And that makes all those jokes that people said about Beasley look really bad. He also explained why he didn't get a chance even in the NBA bubble. The Blazers did put him on their team, but the day he was supposed to play, he woke up sick. He threw up 20 times and was taken to the hospital with COVID. Today you can see Beasley working out with guys like John Wall, just trying to stay ready. And I don't feel too bad for Michael Beasley, actually. I do think he was a bonehead early in his career, and he just took longer to mature. And then when real stuff was happening, people didn't want to hear it because of the reputation that he already established. In terms of getting another chance, though, I think some contender could use a score like Beasley off the bench if they looked at his per 36 numbers. About 20.7 boards, but they better not look at anything else. I mean, even at his best, Beasley could not guard a trash can. He was an inefficient, shooting 47% from the field for his career, and he is a one-dimensional scorer, not making his teammates any better. Beasley was a punchline early in his career. Recently, he's opened up about some real tragic things that have happened in his life, but again, the good news is he did not waste his money like other knuckleheads who were young and became millionaires. He does have enough to continue to support his family, and it would be nice to see him get one more shot in the league like a Lance Stevenson. But one guy who may never get another shot in the league is Aaron Baines. Remember him? It was like one day he was killing it on the Suns, then he got traded to the Raptors, had a bit of a down year, then he's just gone. But the reason he is just gone is super tragic, and if we ever see him back in an NBA jersey, it'll be a miracle. Check it out.